Hey, what's up? Welcome to this tutorial on Boolean modeling. Boolean modeling is a basic, however, very intuitive technique and ideal for beginners to 3D modeling and Blender to start out and create actually quite some complex models already with this very simple technique. So how Boolean modeling works is that you basically combine different meshes together and choose how they should be combined. So in Blender you do that by adding a modifier called the Boolean modifier, and you have three types of combining your objects together. So you have an intersect, which will take the overlap between two objects, for example, or an object and a collection of objects. You have the union, which will make one mesh out of those objects, and you have difference, which will actually subtract one object from the other. So those three things allow you to create actually quite some cool looking models already, and as I said before, it's a very easy technique. You also have the option then to choose either to use one object or a collection of objects. So especially important if you would like to do the same kind of Boolean operation for multiple objects. And of course you can add as many Boolean modifiers as you want. You also have two methods. You have an exact method and a fast method. I think by default it's the exact method. And also I don't really know what the difference is. It should be something like the grade calculates the Boolean is different for fast or exact. Usually fast does the trick for most cases, but just play around with it and see what works. Sometimes you get indeed a bit of weird results depending on the complexity of the objects that you are using that Boolean modifier with. Alright, so I think it's time to head over to my office and open up a Blender and start with the tutorial. Alright, let's start by adding a sphere to our scene and just drag it a little bit more to the right. Next thing, we'll add a bool modifier to the cube object, and now you can choose between three options. So here you can choose the type of Boolean. You can also choose the operand type, so either you can combine it with another object or a collection of objects. So intersection will look as follows. So you see the overlap, you can change it to union to see the combination, or difference to see the subtraction of that sphere. We'll start from our basic scene and simply just scale our cube to get a bit more rectangular form for the bus. Then we will simply add another cube to our scene that you can use in our Boolean modifier to subtract from the main bus cube. So just place it in the right area to basically allow it to be a window in the bus. We can just copy and paste it a few times by holding Shift plus D, so that you just add those cubes in one collection so that you can use that in our Boolean modifier. Simply copy the initial cube and scale it a little bit smaller, and then again through another Boolean object you can subtract it from the initial cube, which will create the inside of the bus. You can as well make a copy of one of the windows and use that for a front window of the bus. Simply just add it to your collection and it will also subtract that from the initial cube mesh as well. The objects that I use in my Boolean modifier, I display them as a wire. You can do that by going to the object properties, and under viewport display, instead of choosing texture, you use wire. Okay, you can add a door to your bus, lights, wheels, whatever you like. So just continue like that by using the Boolean modifier, adding other objects to it. So as you can see, it's a very intuitive way of modeling by simply just adding, combining objects, subtracting from each other. And it's a great technique to learn, especially in the beginning, if you're trying to figure out how Blender works and how modeling works. It's a very useful technique, and you can actually create a lot of objects with this technique, and even more complex objects as well. So feel free to continue watching this tutorial and see what else I add to my bus, but I guess now it's up to you to start playing around and using this technique in Blender to create maybe even your first model. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video, and see you in the next one. Thank you.